What's going on, everybody? My name is niXcraft. Welcome on back to the series. We are in episode 22 today, standing in front of our brand new library. And speaking of which, we have done some work on stream on the outside here, laid up out a path, and got some custom trees going as well. We got ourselves a nice view of the river going here too. And it looks like I forgot a lantern on top of this post, but that's okay. It's looking really good out here. And speaking of things we've done on stream, I have to show you guys something else that has to do with today's episode. Coming on into our storage room here, you'll notice that I did actually get rid of the glow berries. It was a little laggy and framey around here, so I thought that had something to do with it, but still kind of like that. It might have something to do with Render Dragon, but either way, if we come through this cave, on a recent stream, I ended up digging out an area over here, and I think this is what we're going to be taking care of today. So we are going to be building a dripstone farm, and not just the dripstone blocks, even though we can make it out of it. We're going to be doing the pointed dripstone specifically because I've been doing these little pillars in this cave, and I think I'm going to keep doing those. And also, we've been doing a castle project on stream, so definitely follow me on Twitch if you haven't already. But yeah, so we're going to be using a lot of this pointed dripstone for building, so I think we could make a nice farm for it. We'll be using a Silent Whisperer design, and I will link his video in the description, of course. And we still have our villager from the breeder over here, our first villager. Hi, buddy. Now, something we're going to need for today's build is actually honey blocks, and not honeycomb blocks, which we set up this farm for. We've been getting a lot of honeycomb from this, but we actually need the actual block of honey itself, because we're going to be building a couple of flying machines today. Now, I know that sounds pretty scary to build, but don't worry, it's actually not that hard, thanks to Silent, of course. But this means we have to head to the back of the farm here and our little redstone entrance on this side, and we're going to have to change out some of these shears, I think just a couple of these middle ones, and replace them with glass bottles. Now I'm going to do a decent amount because I actually want to keep a few of these harvesting honey bottles instead of honeycomb, because I think that'll be useful in the future. You know, maybe we'll need some honey blocks at some point, who knows. While we wait for that farm to collect up with some honey bottles, we could head over to this spot and I could talk a little bit about this farm. So basically, we're going to have some dripstone blocks on the ceiling here with water sources above them. So basically you'll have the pointed dripstone growing off the bottom of these dripstone blocks, and with water above it, they will actually grow downwards and from the ground beneath it too, because it'll drip and start growing the dripstone up as well. They're kind of like stalactites and stalagmites in Minecraft, which is pretty cool, and they're very cool to build with. So this farm will get us a lot of them, but I actually have to finish digging this out a little bit. I don't like how the wall just kind of goes flat right here, so I think I'm going to dig out this ceiling a little bit while that honey farm does what it does. Well, here I am getting sidetracked gathering some clay. Now, normally I would be doing this because we're building with bricks, but not today. It's actually because we need some terracotta, specifically glazed terracotta, and we have not found a mesa yet. If you've been joining me in on the streams, you know I've been looking for those, exploring, but yeah, we haven't been able to find a mesa to gather any terracotta, so I'm going to have to smelt these full clay blocks into terracotta, which is actually something I didn't know you could do for a while. We got a trident. It hurts, but it must be done. Finally gathered up all the honey blocks that we're going to need for the farm too, so I think it's time to start digging out the rest of this ceiling. Then we'll start talking about this farm. Materials have been gathered and we could start building this farm now. We're going to start with the glazed terracotta, and I actually went with orange because I think we're going to use some copper today in the build around this. Not exactly too sure how this is going to look when it's done in this area, so not exactly too sure how we're going to build here either, so we'll see how that goes. But I think orange terracotta is going to go with the theme that we're using, so yeah, I'm also not going to take the time to place it in the correct way so that it makes the design. We're not really going to see this too much anyways. It's going to be covered with dripstone. So let's fill in this whole platform with some glazed terracotta. That is looking very bright, so we could come to either side of this farm here. We're going to start on this side, and we're actually going to dig out a couple of trenches, and I believe these are going to be the start of our water trench collection system to get all this dripstone into one area. Coming over to this left side here, we could place down a glass block, and this is going to be the first block of our flying machine. So we're going to place down some honey blocks going this way, and I believe we're going for 7. Did I get that right? Hey, I did. So, and right here in the middle, we're going to put down a observer and a sticky piston. The observer is going to be facing forwards like that, sticky piston coming out, and then another honey block to the side of that. Now our glazed terracotta comes in again because honey blocks actually don't stick to glazed terracotta. I actually need to move that piston around. So we're going to put 2 glazed terracotta here, and I believe an obsidian behind this block here. If you want a better tutorial, watch Silent's video. I was wrong, it's behind the piston. Now grabbing up some redstone, we've got some repeaters all on 4 ticks here, except for this one, which is only going to be on 1 block right here, and 2 redstone dust. Now this is what looks like half of a functioning flying machine. Putting down another sticky piston and some glazed terracotta there, we can continue the line of honey blocks this way, and then we have finished the flying machine. It reaches the end of this glazed terracotta platform, which is where all the dripstone, at the bottom at least, will be sitting. We're gonna have to make another, we're gonna have to make another one of these right above this. But first we have to make sure this flying machine returns back to its station, and we have to head right across from where the observer was to this area, and this should be able to send it back to our starting spot. This whole bottom layer has to be leaves so the honey blocks don't stick to it. It is now time for the test. So if we place a button right here, should be able to press it and that flying machine should take off. And it does. So it looks like we could follow a tutorial. Now hopefully it bounces back off there and comes back. It's going to break all of our torches as well. And moment of truth, there it is, coming back. Now this will sweep all of the dripstone that's growing on the bottom off and into a trench over here that we will eventually collect. This should come right back to its station here and come to rest until we hit the button again and it's time to harvest. So perfect, that worked out well. Definitely replacing those torches we just broke, because we're going to have to pillar up now and build the dripstone ceiling above this that's actually going to be growing our dripstone. So it's going to get a little dark under there, so I'll be back in a second once we build this platform. Alright, probably going to flood here a little bit, but just do it real quick, real quick. Nailed it. Look at that. Professionals. With the dripstone ceiling all set, we can now come in here, and it looks like we're going to have to build up a little block here, but we're going to have to place pointed dripstone on every single one of these blocks, and they're going to start growing in for us. Last couple dripstone here, and we are completely filled in on the roof. It looks like we already have one growing over here too. Probably a couple will start accumulating on the ground, but we're going to need to get rid of those torches, so maybe we'll get some jack-o'-lanterns. Honey blocks also won't stick to those, so that'll be some light coming from the floor without using torches or lanterns or any other item block like that. This is not ideal. Pumpkin farm coming soon. But while we wait for that single pumpkin to grow, we're going to build the second flying machine, which is actually going to be at the layer below the dripstone here. And this is going to harvest it from the top, while the bottom one sweeps all the drops and all the dripstone growing from below. Moved our pumpkin growing operation indoors here, but I have both of the flying machines installed, including their return stations over here, and luckily it was pretty much the same thing just repeated above, so it really wasn't that difficult to do. But now we are going to have to start digging out the collection trenches. So I'm going to start over here and basically just be digging a 2-block wide tunnel. Some areas will be a little bit wider than that, some will a little bit shorter, but yeah, this will basically just be a water stream directing all the items into hoppers that will go into one chest for easy collection. With our collection system in, I think our farm is ready to go. I'm just waiting on a couple more pumpkins to grow in. We've kind of expanded our growing operation. But yeah, we are looking pretty cool here. I connected up the redstone on these 2 flying machines just so we could hit one button and send both of them at the same time, so that's good. we just gotta wait for this thing to grow in a little bit more. I don't want to harvest it quite yet. I mean, we do have our collection system over on the back side. If we walk underneath the flying machines here, got a little staircase down into a double chest right here. So that's what we're looking at so far. Now it's got to figure out what to build around it. I think that's a good way to let these dripstone grow in. So I'm going to do a little bit of thinking here. I think we're going to kick this off into a time lapse. So hopefully this looks good inside this cave. See you guys back in a second. But first I actually have to do a little bit of digging. So I'm going to clear some stuff out. And that way I have some room to build and a bit of a layout. And that way I can have sort of a plan. Anyway, see you guys back soon. Hey there folks, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that time lapse. And here we are at our giant new dripstone farm. And this stuff has been growing in, as you can see, but let's take a look around first. As you can see, we used a lot of copper in the walls. That'll eventually oxidize over time, and I think that'll go with some of the orange and blue that we used on this glazed terracotta. But other than that, I used actual dripstone in the walls too, along with some jungle wood and deep slate around the trim of these little sections here. I think it's looking amazing. We've got ourselves a little balcony up here as well. Laid down some stone slabs so we can kind of make a staircase out of this. And I'm using a tough block as sort of like a path on some stone. Not too sure how that looks, but I think I like it. And yeah, we have this little balcony here to hit our button and run this farm. And other than that, I didn't really do too much with the storage. It's still kind of annoying to get back to. We gotta go over the flying machine and stuff, but the staircase is pretty much the same as it is. And yeah, I think this place is looking amazing, so the only thing left to do, I guess, is to run this farm and see if it works. Now this isn't even all the way grown in. Now these dripstones can end up touching one another, even connecting all the way to the top, but I think just for demonstration purposes, we should do a harvest of this farm. So let's go up the side of this stone here, hit our button, and both flying machines should take off. Let's see if this works. Let's go down and get a view here. And both of them are going, and look at the dripstone falling, guys. So eventually, when it gets to the end, it might get a little laggy here, so sorry about that. These blocks will shift over to this end and start clearing out this dripstone here. Now you can see there's a bunch of dripstone floating on the top of this flying machine. That's why we laid these leaves down here. As you can see, all the dripstone will get knocked off into the water stream, and all that stuff is going into our chest, guys. So look at that. We've got a couple kind of floating on the side here. I mean, it's going to be a couple losses in this farm, I guess, but it's not really too big of a deal. It couldn't be too much. Maybe just a couple. I actually ended up having almost a stack not get picked up, but let's see just from that one harvest how much dripstone we got. Wow. That is a lot of dripstone, guys. So yeah, if we add this to that, that's pretty much 8 stacks from, yeah, not even a full harvest. So safe to say that this farm works. And not only that, I think the farm itself looks amazing. Once these copper blocks start oxidizing just a little bit more, this place is going to start looking awesome. And I'm going to probably off camera, sometimes on stream, be adding a couple more of these dripstone pillars in. But we have a lot of room in this cave to make some more big farms. But with that, folks, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. So I really appreciate everybody watching, I hope you enjoyed this farm today. And please subscribe, of course, if you're new here, and leave a like on the video and comment as well. Once again, my name has been niXcraft, and I will see you folks real soon. Take care.